All right. Welcome, everybody, to Echo Radio, the one and only reborn newscast for Grievance's FFXIV Final Fantasy XIV chapter. I am Mascurse, and I am super excited to bring this back for everybody and for myself. Uh, Welcome, and I hope you all have as good a time as I know I'm going to. I'm looking forward to providing the best news and opinions, and sometimes maybe some debates that I possibly can. This week, our first week back on the air, I am super excited to welcome the Grievance Final Fantasy XIV raid lead, officer extraordinaire, Shiv. Welcome to Shiv, everybody.
What's up?
Not that anybody can actually respond, but that's.
I will
um,
shortly.
yeah, that's the hope anyway. Anyway, so Shiv, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been playing Final Fantasy XIV?
I've been playing. Well, actually, I played in 1.0, and it was horrible, as we all know.
Yeah,
Came back for beta uh, in August of 2013, and haven't left since. So I've been here since beta, and I love it every minute. Still hooked. It's
that's
like a
great.
drug.
Yeah, it is kind of like a drug, isn't it? So you are the raid lead for Final Fantasy XIV's Grievance chapter, is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. And how long have you been doing that?
Year and a half, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years now. Yeah. And seeing as how successful Grievance raiding has been, I'd say you're probably doing a good job.
It's tough. Trying to keep six static. We have six static teams going right now, so there's a lot of trying to keep everybody happy and get people on the teams where I can. But it's fun.
We have 6 static teams. That's something else, I got to tell you.
Yep.
I know we've got at least one that's already cleared the first boss in this new raid tier.
Yep.
But we got a total of 6 of them that's running. That's insane. Not very many FCs out there can say that. That's for
Yep.
sure.
And it's almost every one of them's filled with grievance members. I think we have one pug, so it's
Wow.
awesome. We have this many people rating.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, we've had some people actually brought into the FFXIV chapter through rating. Is that not correct?
Yep, yeah. Pick them up at Party Finder. They find out how awesome we are, and they join us.
Oh, that's great. That's such a great way to bring new people into the fold and to find new people to play with as well.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a influx of 10 people or so in the past
Yeah.
couple of weeks. It's great.
Yeah, I noticed that it kind of got crazy there for a little bit. We found some neat new friends, and I'm definitely enjoying spending time in TeamSpeak with them because they seem to be on at a lot of the same times I am. So it's been very fun indeed. Yeah, as you can see, the chat's already starting to show up a little bit there. Um, Hopefully, I fixed the issues that I was previously having with doing chroma key, but it looks like it's working pretty well. Everybody can read that. Anyway, so we're going to split this up a little bit into some sections, but for the most part, we're going to be keeping it a little bit loose. So, topics of discussion we've got written down here. But Shiv, if you would talk a little bit about the events that occurred recently in the Final Fantasy XIV Grievance chapter, that'd be
Well,
great.
oh, Grievance. I mean, beta's been here since last August, and the game went live on August 26th, and Grievance was formed that day. So we had our 2 year anniversary of Grievance being running Final Fantasy, and we did 2 events. We did a speedrun event where everybody showed up in front of the free company house, and they get assigned a random number, and then Fox will assign 4 people per team. Then we all at the same time go into we went 1,000 miles of Totorak, which is a level 24 dungeon, so we could
Very
include
long one.
everybody. Yeah, and the first person out won. We had 3 teams that won. Team Red Herrings, which was members, that was Lord Sake, Zephyr, Ard, and Valendil. They got first place and got 375k gil each.
If I'm not
Second place,
mistaken, real quick, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they enter the wrong dungeon the first time in, and they
they
still
did.
came out first? That's
Yeah,
insane.
well, it's not a big deal, but we've learned a couple things about how to run them next time.
Yeah, that is true.
The team fighting mongooses came second place. That was actually you, Beck, Red, and Violin. And then third place was Team Bandersnatch, which was myself, Vadrana, Echelon, and Shaq. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got Shaq in the chat with the rub it in. Why don't you?
Yeah, no, we that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
In fact, we like doing that event.
yeah.
It's everybody seems to enjoy it.
I
And then
noticed something about the layout of the teams. like every team had different roles that went in. I think the
Hmm.
only role that was repeated across more than one of the top three teams was Bard. Is that right?
Yeah, and I actually went as machinist. So if that was, I mean, basically mobile and able to attack, which is great.
Right. But you don't get the same, the speed buff that bards give out to everybody and all of that. But there's differences. But it's really interesting seeing how these teams were split out. The first place team was a ninja, a dark knight, a scholar, and a bard. Second team was a summoner, a bard, a black mage, and an astrologian. No tank in that one.
And I think actually the scholar pet tank.
Yeah, that wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise me. Oh crap! I think I just died, or I think my stream just died.
yep, it looks that way.
All right, looks like it's back.
It's back.
Comcast. Okay, anyway, looks like it's back. I do apologize for that, and I swear to God, anyway. And then the last team was a white mage, a machinist, a dragoon, and a warrior. It's complete different assignments, and all of them were pretty dang close. All three of the
Yeah,
top three teams were pretty dang close.
and I mean there was actually five teams that ran, and the other two teams came out like fairly quickly afterwards. So it was a
Yeah,
really good race.
yeah, it really was, and I enjoyed the crap out of that. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that's a blast. And then the second night, we did a hide and seek where all the officers were given an item. And then we actually had Twistbeard, our guild leader. He had a Thavnarian Bolero, which is a really nice glamour item. And then Badrana, our XO, she had the Thavnarian Bustier, which is the female version. They both hid in new zones, and then all the other officers had atrophied Atomoses, which is it's a minion, really ugly minion, but he's
I
cute.
got one.
And yeah, I actually I ended up getting one too after the fact. But we all hid in different zones, and then the other officers also had second and third place prizes for people who found them of some money. So we ended up giving out 200K to second place and 100K to third place. It's a lot of fun. We find different places to hide and do our best to stay out of the way and hope that no one can find us. It's actually really fun for the officers because we'll see you guys run by us. We get all nervous and you're gonna find us. So like,
Yeah. I really enjoy those events. The hide and seek part is really fun, but honestly, the part that really draws me is where they get to the point where people haven't found them yet, and they start giving out really cryptic riddles as hints to
yeah,
try to find them.
yeah,
Fox is really good at that, but the other officers really stepped up this time too. Some of those riddles were superb, and I know a lot of them were given out by Fox to the officers, but some officers really stepped up and brought their own to the table as well. That was really impressive.
yeah. It was a lot of fun, and we actually enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. I'm glad because those are such fun events for everybody in the FC, and I hope those continue to come along because I'd kind of missed them for a while.
Well, we if we were to do them all the time, then they'd become
Right.
boring and nobody want to do them. So we try and spread them out at
Yep.
least maybe once a quarter or twice a year.
And they always come out with a lot of fun, so that's great.
Yep.
Um. Anyway, unless you have anything else, I'm gonna move on here to the raid report. Da, 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 da. I'll have
Go for
music
it.
for that someday. Um. So it's not a real big raid report this time around because there's really only one piece of really exciting news. The Notorious Monsters, one of our 6 static raid teams, has downed the first floor of Alexander Savage. Congratulations to them. I believe the raid lieutenant for that team is Fox, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
That's excellent. Yeah. Um, they've done a superb job in getting out there and getting this. They've had some rough times with having to change out members and such, but they've really stepped up and they got that down very quickly. And they're also fast approaching the coveted kill of Alexander Floor 2 Savage. So good luck, you guys, in this upcoming raid sequence. You look like you're doing a great job. And then we have a message from our glorious guild leader, who is also sitting in chat, Twistbeard. He had the following message to say to everybody, and I quote: I am proud of how everyone in the guild has come together to achieve like-minded goals for the guild. Airships, raiding, PvP, and etc. They make our guild stand out and give us an amazing reputation on the server. I'm humbled to be the guild leader for such a great group of people. Also, our plans for the airships, if they allow multiple boarding parties, and depending on how they introduce the content, we will most likely be having scheduled guild events with multiple airship landing parties.
As an update to the airship, our first airship hit rank 50 tonight, which is the max rank.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's great. That's the
Mhm.
Blackjack, right?
That's correct.
And we have a second airship too, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct.
Y-
Yes.
Yep. Yes, we have a second one, and we send the Blackjack out to try and unlock the zone that'll give us the third airship. Once that unlocks, Twist will be doing everything it can to get us our third airship, and then we'll start ranking that one up too.
Awesome. 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 The airship
Yeah.
content that's coming up sounds like a lot of fun. I hope it's going to be as fun as it sounds, but we'll get to that a little bit later on once we get to that in the live letter, because we're going to talk about the live letter. It's going to be awesome. Um, well, actually, I mean, unless you have anything else, let's just move right on into that.
Yeah. Yeah. They actually did the letter from Producer Live. They do it in Japanese, and Bayonne, he works for Square Enix now.
Yep. He's Matt
Translated,
Hilton. Yeah.
yeah, he actually translated some of it. So there's quite a bit in this live letter. For things that are coming in 3.1, which is good, looking to be a really, really nice patch. Uh, they're going to add a beginner hall. It looks like, everything I can pick, I mean, sometimes the translations just aren't 100% there. It sounds like it's going to be a place where people can go and actually learn how to play their class uh, to give you a lot of, this is how you tank, this is how you DPS, this is how you heal. And it should be a lot better, I'm hoping, and more involved than just the guild has. Because the guild has,
Yeah.
while great, people skip all the mechanics now and just
Yeah.
don't even do them.
I am interested to see what they're going to do because there's been some talk about possibilities of like including a DPS parser as part of the beginner hall on the dummies in the beginner hall. There's been talk about practicing raid mechanics, um, recurring themes within
Yeah.
raids, things like that. There's a lot of really good possibilities with that. They've been keeping it pretty close to their chest though, so we'll see how that actually turns out.
Well, typically, I mean, that's one thing that I do like about this game. I to kind of split off is they do introduce the mechanics. A lot of the raid mechanics that you see, you've actually seen them in dungeons, just not
Yeah.
as advanced, and not as many at one time. So they're really good, usually about moving things up. Savage, no, that just goes all out the window. Savage is Savage.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the action cam right over my head, I'm showing some Alexander Floor 3 normal mode right now, and there are so many mechanics in that. I mean, you just see right there uh, some uh, some circles on the floor that you got to get out of, cleaves from the tank, cleaves for the tank so that he keeps the boss faced away. All these things are things that you see in just about every dungeon or raid in the game. I'm hoping that those are going to be the kind of mechanics they're talking about allowing people to practice in this beginner hall because the
Yeah,
more people that know about those, the more powerful that will become.
exactly. They also talked about some class changes. Sorry, monks, you're not going to see a way to get all 5 of your chakra stacks instantly. They feel it's way too overpowered, and I kind of
Yeah,
agree with them.
I do, and as much as I like Monk, I love Monk, and I love the chakra system that they added.
Mhm.
It's a lot to take in. I know I have a Monk, um, but once you get it, especially now that they've changed some stuff with Grease Lightning, which we'll be getting to later, it does make it a lot more realistic to be able to get that extra meditation into your rotation. So being able to get your stacks of chakra, not that important. I mean, honestly, I would just like to see them get something to where, you know, all your cooldowns reset. If we could get that, then by all means, have your
Oh
chakra
God.
stacks.
Yeah, I wish they would add that on a wipe if everything just
Yeah,
reset. Everything, hollowed ground, every skill that has a 3 minute. Yeah, it'd be great.
you,
Um,
me, everybody else.
but yeah, I know. Moving on, PvP. They
Yeah,
did talk about the possibility of removing the Grand Company restrictions. They're a little afraid, though, that that's going to really increase the amount of fixed matches.
yeah,
So they're really trying to balance that out. I think it'd be great because we have a lot of people interested in PvP, but they can't because they don't want to be Immortal Flames.
yeah.
Um,
I think it would be a strong move for them, but they would need to remove. They would need to keep that Grand Company restriction in place for the 8v8v8 stuff. I think for everything else, it'd be way too hard to fix those matches. Getting that many people together, that's way too difficult.
Actually, it's not true because there's a pre-made that runs off of Gilgamesh. It's an adder team. We call them the Pain Train, and there's
Oh,
24 of them that are able to queue at the same time. And it's yeah, if you've ever been on the other end of that, it's not pretty.
yeah. Well, I'd have to take your word for it because I don't PvP. So,
Should it's fun. Uh,
we'll go into that later.
this next one doesn't actually affect Grievance as a whole because we're not planning on moving. But the European data center is still coming. They're looking at getting it open in mid-October. They're still moving they're copying worlds and some other stuff. So that's still planned for our European members who are not members of Grievance or anybody who happens to be watching the stream that still plays.
Yeah. Again, not all this information is going to directly affect, but I feel it's part of our job to let that information flow a little bit.
Yeah,
Bring it forth from our perspective. I think it's a good thing that they're adding the EU data centers, especially for those that are trying to play from Europe. But I think that they're not going to see a whole lot of traffic on those servers because most people in Europe are so used to playing on the North American and or uh, Japanese servers that it's just it's going to be too much of a hassle for them to change over.
yeah. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I don't know if they're actually going to physically move worlds and have dedicated European servers or just create new ones. So we'll see how that works out.
It sounds like
Housing, I
they
know
are
it's a big
creating
thing for
new
a lot of people.
worlds. It sounds like they're creating fully new worlds, from what I've been
Okay.
told.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't keep up with that one because it doesn't affect me,
Yeah, right.
unfortunately. They're really, really vague on the plans for housing. They did mention that
Yeah.
they're going to add in the ability to move your house once the new lands go in, but they're still not sure how they're going to add new lands. Along with housing, they're going to give people the ability to allow multiple people access to a house. So you can
Yeah.
give access to 5 other people, which is great for Eternal Bonds partners like myself, Marivor can't get access to my house and I can't get access to hers. And it'll also make Kyosha happy because she'll be able to get access to more gardens, and she loves doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, she does like doing the gardens. But yeah, for all of you people out there that have housemates that you want to be able to do things in your house, or you want to be able to do things in other people's houses, this is going to be a huge benefit. We don't know exactly what that's going to entail,
Yeah,
but I have a feeling it's mostly just going to be the ability to give people access to more than just the basics that they can right now. So
right. I just hope that they fine tune it so I can give like Marivor full access and then Kyosha minimum or
partial access, yeah.
yeah access to the gardens. Not that I don't trust Kyosha, but all right.
It would feel more like you're actually doing the job, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Just pay out rent. You don't. There was a question that was asked about the dark side effect for Dark Knights. It was actually 2 questions. The job video had a different aura.
yeah,
And it was basically just an outline around the player, and people are upset that they didn't get it because the new one it's a little overpowering, a little overwhelming.
yeah,
They're looking into possibly fixing it, but they said it looked unnatural in other areas. And also the aura being shown in town and being just automatically turning that off. They said it would affect too many other things. So all I can recommend is Dark Knights. Just turn your aura off. You don't need it.
yeah. That I mean, honestly, the part that people are annoyed about is the other Dark Knights that don't want it turned off. but
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
they said in the live letter, there's too many other auras in the game that are part of the same group of objects that they would have to be able to switch on and off, and that's going to be too difficult for them to keep track of,
right.
which makes sense.
Yep. One of the additions they made with 3.0 was the specialist system for crafting. And right now, specialists don't really feel very specialized. There's not a whole lot of benefit to specializing in a craft, so they're looking into adding more recipes that take advantage of that, which would be good because I mean, why if you're going to take the time to gear it up when crafting is a grind,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get the benefits of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a master in your craft, you should be able to do things that other people in the craft cannot do, or at
Mhm.
least be able to do them 100 million times better than that person could ever hope. You know,
Exactly.
uh, as was put to me by somebody in a chat a while back. I don't remember who exactly it was, but you know, this person is a line chef. They're able to cook the same recipe, and they're able to cook all of these recipes. But if you are a chef that's been to school for years and you're a master chef in and of your own self, not only would you be able to cook these meals that the line chefs can do and make them way better, but you'd be able to cook meals that the line chefs can't ever really consider themselves able to cook.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, it seems to me that that needed to happen. Kind of surprised they didn't go over the top a
Yeah,
little bit with that. That seems like that's something that they could have gone over the top, and not too many people would have been upset about. So I guess they're trying to play cautious,
yeah,
uh, but at least we're
yeah,
getting it now. So
yeah. I know there were with the release of Heaven's Word 3.0, one of the design decisions they made was to everyone had to finish the 2.0 contact to get to 3.0. It was actually gated. And I know a lot of people are upset about it. They stand behind what they did. That said, going forward in 4.0, they've already said that you won't have to do 2.0, 3.0 content, and you will be able to get access to all the classes right away. Uh,
actually, I don't think they said that about 2.0. They did say it about 3.0. You're not going to be required to complete the 3.x content to get to 4.0, but they didn't say that about 2.0. So we'll have to see on that.
yeah, no, that does make sense. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to have like a little flashback for people who are new. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's good. I can kind of understand not expecting people to go through 3 years of content to get to the new stuff. That'd probably be a big turnoff for me,
I
even though
don't
I'm not
know.
planning on leaving.
For me, as much as I understand the stance that they're taking to make that change, and I really do. I understand it. It's kind of required if they're going to keep their people, but I liked the choice that they made to gate the 3.0 content behind the 2.x series, simply because none of it would have made sense without the 2.x
Oh, I agree.
context. So they may be making it to where 4.0 doesn't require that 3.x content for context, in which case that's fine. But I'm worried that they're going to just release that and then people are going to be missing the best, what I consider to be the best part of this game, which is the story.
Your mic's cut out.
Yeah, it did. Urgh! Anyway, the best part of this game to me is the story, and I hope that people aren't going to miss out on that because of this change. But we'll have to see.
Right. Yeah. All right. Now some more 3.1 stuff coming up. We got
Hold
some
up.
new dungeons.
It the stream just died again. God dang it. Okay, we're back. Continue, please.
All right, new dungeons coming up in 3.1. We got the Saint Mucian Arboretum. The graphics for this look really, really cool.
Yeah, they do.
Looks like an indoor uh, arboretum. Uh, and everyone's favorite dungeon from the old content after it got nerfed, Pharaoh Sirius. When it was first introduced, that dungeon really destroyed people.
Yeah.
It wasn't super hard. I mean, it was a challenge, but the risk versus reward wasn't there, so they toned back on it. I actually liked the original version because I actually had to do things like multiple stuns and stuff like that. So we got the two new dungeons coming. There's no word yet if they're going to move the two current experts out of the roulette. I kind of hope they don't. That way, there's more choices because I know people get tired of never reaping a fractal over and over and over. They're going to be adding XP rewards to the level 50 dungeons, so high level roulettes will become something that you want to run again on when you're leveling your characters because I know that was a big bummer to me when I first went back in and didn't get any experience.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to come back. Just being able to run two roulettes for leveling is going to be
Mhm.
really helpful, especially for that grind from 50 to 51 or
Yeah,
from 59 to 60. Being able to get that extra XP every day is going to be
yeah,
huge.
definitely.
Also, to skip back just a little bit, the St. Mosian Arboretum, you can actually go see the outside of that right now in the Dravanian hinterlands. It's that big building that's got the tree growing out of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really neat. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's inside there because they made it seem very big, and that building doesn't seem all that big. So I'm wondering if maybe it's going to continue underground or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
We got a new 24-man coming, the Void Arc. Is the tentative name. It looks like they're going to be going with the same thing as Crystal Tower, the later versions with 3 tanks, 6 healers, 15 DPS. No word on difficulty yet. I'm assuming, I mean, I'm going to guess that it's much easier than Savage
Oh,
for an alternate way for people to get geared
it,
up.
there's no way it's going to be as hard as Savage. I'm sorry. I could see it being maybe difficult, like beyond Alex easy mode in difficulty, but there's no chance
Okay.
under the sun that it's going to be as hard as Savage, and I'm probably cutting out again. God, ah, ah, mother of God. Uh,
Comcast,
Yeah,
did you not sacrifice the goat?
I sacrificed a Lalafell and everything. I don't know what to tell you guys. Um, I seriously sat a stream on here while playing the game for 2 hours earlier, and I had none of these problems. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I did everything I could.
It's all good.
Anyway,
Yeah,
like I was saying, the I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the Void Arc
do it.
because it looks amazing from the concept art. It's gonna
Yeah.
be cool.
Oh God, yeah. That's the whole place. We got a new Prime coming. If anybody has done the Rising, the anniversary event, which I recommend doing, it is an
Yeah,
amazing love letter to the fans. With it, I'm not going to go into spoilers but it's definitely worth doing.
and
There
read it.
are some
Read all the text.
clues for upcoming stuff. Yeah, there's some clues for some upcoming primals, and some new classes and all sorts of other things. How much of it's going to actually happen and how much of it's just them throwing out red herrings, couldn't tell you. Undersized parties now are going to have a clear time displayed, so you'll be able to see how much time you got left in the dungeon. And they're talking about the new upgrade system. We're not sure yet if it's the relic. They're not sure if it's going to make 3.1, but they're pretty sure they're going to make 3.15. Last word I heard is people who currently have their zodiacs will have a slight advantage in you'll be able to jump a step ahead or step or two ahead. So that is, they're usually very tight-lipped about that, especially if it's going to require crafting mats. Let's see, quest related. They're going to be doing more main scenario quests, obviously. They're going to add the new side quest for the Saint Endelim Scholasticate. I just butchered that word. Then, we got the Vanu Vanu Beast Tribe quest, which hopefully will also add the new dance that everybody wants, which is
Yeah.
the whole everyone's
the,
excited
the
about that.
tribal thing that looks it is
Yeah,
it's a cool dance.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
just a quick point aside, we got an interesting question in chat here from Shock. Would you guys want to see more Final Fantasy crossover events like Lightning Strikes Back, maybe something with Final Fantasy 15 or Kingdom Hearts 3? It'd be interesting. Um, I'd definitely be interested to see it.
Well, they've actually done other crossovers without Final Fantasy. They did a Dragon Quest when the Dragon
Yeah,
Quest game came out. They did a crossover with that, and you could actually get the little golems minion. So
and
they
the Shantoto minion, right?
yeah, Shintoto was a crossover from Final Fantasy 11. So yeah, I definitely want to see more stuff like that. Be really really cool, especially if they give out more minions. I'm a minion fanatic.
Yeah, minions are cool. The armor and stuff that was from the Lightning event was pretty. As cliche as it may sound, it was actually pretty good looking armor.
Oh yeah,
Some of it
yeah,
anyway. I'm not a big fan of the snow stuff, but Um, but yeah, it would be very interesting, especially from the Kingdom Hearts 3 side. I'd be interested to see how they would pull that off. That'd be interesting to say the least.
yeah. It all depends on licensing because yeah, if they're pulling in more Disney stuff, they might not be able to do too many crossovers. Disney's pretty tight about licensing. So I haven't even looked to see much about Kingdom Hearts 3 if they're going to be including more Disney stuff. All right, we're on to something that's going to be that's going to make Twistbeard incredibly happy. We've got the airship exploration voyages coming. They're being really tight-lipped about how this is going to work, but there's going to be new content. We're going to be able to unexplored, uncharted islands with the company airship. It'll be uh, the it'll be group content. It'll be multiple parties on the same island. For people who aren't in free companies, they're going to add the ability to jump on airships in Ishgard. So that's kind of cool. So people aren't, hopefully they don't get the same access that we do.
We're losing frames again. Hang on just a second. I gotta try to fix something
Okay.
here. Uh, yeah, we're losing frames like water in a boat at the moment. It's killing me. Okay, we should be good now. Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Not sure where I stopped that. I'll just start really again. Airship exploration. It's new content. We're going to be getting. We're going to explore uncharted islands that our airships are going to go find. Multiple parties, and we're going to make a guild event out of this. Definitely, it'll be scheduled. Looks like lots of strong monsters. There'll be gathering nodes for our gatherers. So hopefully, we can get some stuff that you just can't find anywhere else in the world. They want an old MMO like feel. If everybody remembers EverQuest and the Prey to Power and some of the really large world content. They want it to be like that, but they want to keep it fresh for Final Fantasy. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. Really looking forward to that because that's going to be a blast.
Yeah, indeed. As much as it may sound like it, you know, I'm concerned with this content. They have such a
Mhm.
huge opportunity to make this big, to make it really good,
Mhm.
but there's such a huge chance of it going completely south as well. Because
Yeah,
if they don't get this right, it will be ignored. It will be completely ignored if they don't incentivize it and make people want to do it. Like right
Mhm.
now, the concept of being able to bring a party of gatherers and a party of battle people together and go out there, and while the battle people pull away the mobs and try to kill them, the gatherers are just frenzied gathering while it's open. That sounds awesome.
oh yeah, it does sound like a lot of fun.
If they could do that and have the mats be worth something, something real, something that
Right.
players are actually going to want other than just for the purpose of gathering them, that could be so much fun. It would be a huge opportunity for events, both for FC and non-FC. It would be so much
Yeah,
fun. But on the flip side, if they just make it into, if we just make it into another hunts, we've seen what happens with hunts. They
definitely. That was not fun.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do it right, but if they
Well,
do, it could be huge.
yeah, and just looking forward to. I mean, you talk about it being ignored. It's kind of rolls into our next topic, which is the gold saucer. The gold saucer. Not a lot of people who actually go there anymore and do
I
the
do,
events because, I
but I
mean, I'll
don't
do
do the
my
events. I just do
yeah,
the
I do
mini
my
packed bot. It's
pretty much, and I don't touch triple triad, but they're bringing in some new content. The Lords of Verminion. It's going to be an RTS type battle system with your minions. You'll set up your parties and go out and go fight other people in a little arena. It looks really, really cool. So I hope they
yeah.
don't screw that one up.
Once again, this is another situation where I'm like, this looks
Yeah.
like it could be really fun, but did you really spend development time on this?
Well, it actually started as an April Fool's joke
Yeah, it did.
last year,
It did.
and they said they went, well, that sounds like a really good idea, so let's do it. So the other April Fool's joke was the dating system, so maybe we'll see that at some point.
I I I have to admit I hope not because that could
Yeah.
go south super fast. I
Oh
don't.
yeah. Yeah. Uh,
No, we're good. Thanks.
yeah. They're also bringing some triple triad adjustments, more triple triad cards, more NPC opponents, and increasing the payouts. They're looking at adjusting some chocobo racing. I don't see a whole lot about that. I just hope they fix the tournaments. That'd be my biggest thing because I don't do them anymore because I'm just not a fan of the
It's
way they turned out.
Yeah, it's match fixing. The whole thing is just a bunch of match fixing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too because Triple Triad is like one thing I was super excited about, and the Portal version of
Yeah.
Triple Triad, that's awesome.
Oh, yes. That's
Yes,
what everything I was hoping this game would have,
yeah,
and I play the Portal version every day.
yeah.
Um,
If they could just make that in the game, you got it right in the Portal. Can't you get it right in the game? That'd be
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the Portal app, there's chaos rules, which is my favorite.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
chaos is still better than the random
roulette.
rule.
Yeah, roulette is a pain.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're going to be adding a challenge log to the gold saucer, so that might get people to go back. Some more crafting recipes. Obviously, they always add more crafting stuff, and then make other crafting recipes easy to do. They're looking
Which they
at
really
making,
need to.
yeah, they're making some of the ground mounts into flying mounts. They did show the RMN and the bomb palanquin flying, so please look
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah.
uh,
Real quick, I just want to jump back to the crafting recipes. There are some recipes they really, really need to make easier
oh,
because
definitely.
the potions in particular right now are ridiculous. I mean,
Uh,
I know it's a big amount of. It looks like a big amount of your main stat that's being added, but it's not that much damage. I mean, the difference between a high quality X potion and a high quality Draconian potion is pretty minimal for most
yeah,
classes.
yeah, I
So
agree.
the amount of extra work and or gil that you have to put into making those is phenomenally huge. And
Yeah, it's
they've
same with some of the foods.
yeah,
Some of the foods are really tough to make.
yeah. And I'm hoping we're going to see them either A, fix it to where those are a little bit easier or produce a little bit more on completion, Or
Yeah,
B, make them specialist recipes. I would be okay with that.
that makes sense. That just means the prices are going to go up for people who can't make them, though.
Yeah, but that would give them a superb reason to, that would give people a superb reason to find a good crafter to go with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, Shock does bring up a good point. Yeah, until you enrage at 1%. Yeah, but still,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, but everyone's trying to get the most out of the character, so I can kind of see it. I mean, that's why the new foods and new potions are fairly on the high end of it if you can't make them on your own.
yeah, unfortunate
More on the
but true.
housing.
More
More on the
housing.
housing. Yep. I've already talked about the house sharing. They're going to allow you to change the brightness levels inside your house. So
That's nice.
yeah, you can have some moonlighting in your bedroom and everything else.
No, I'm just excited about the fact that you're actually gonna be able to make the light a little bit higher in some areas because some of the areas,
Right.
even in our FC house, the light is a little bit. It's like
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah. The
nice if they could bring that up.
yeah, and our decorating committee has done a
They
phenomenal
really
job
have.
making our house look amazing. So
At,
major props to them.
at one point, I am going to take a video just of a tour of the FC house, and I'm gonna put that up there in the action cam for you guys so that you can see it. But I don't have it for this week. Maybe next episode.
Yeah, that'd be definitely cool. They've also talked about removing inactive houses because I know there's no
Finally.
house. Yeah, there's no houses available. So it would allow people who don't play anymore. Sorry if you're not playing, you got to lose your stuff,
Yeah.
which makes sense because it also means that the neighborhoods wouldn't be as empty.
Yeah.
Although the front of our FC house is always busy.
But that's because, we're Grievance. There's enough people in Grievance to keep just that entire neighborhood busy by themselves. So,
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, there's other free companies that actually hang out.
yeah, there
Kupo
are.
and uh, I forget the other one.
Kupo and
They're also Bro.
Bro, yeah. Well, Bro used to hang out there. They don't really hang out there much anymore. They moved to another ward, didn't they?
I haven't really looked.
Anyway,
And then they're also going to allow people to rename their free companies. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that. I'm old school MMO. Your name was your reputation, and you played nice, and you did what you're supposed to because you couldn't get away from it. If you made an ass out of yourself, excuse the language, then you paid for it. And I'm not a big fan of being able to change your names in games now. But that's
yeah,
just me.
I mean, I understand why they're doing it because there are a lot of free companies that change leadership or something like that, and they want
Yeah,
to rebuild from the ground up. And at that point, that's fine because you kind of do need to change your name, start fresh, so that people don't look at you with the stigma that was associated with the previous leadership. Um, but by the same token, you are right. That makes it way too easy for people to escape the consequences of their own actions. So,
definitely.
bring a good point.
Yeah. And that covers the live letter. Lots
Well,
of good stuff.
most of it.
Yeah, that's the important stuff. They do cover a lot more, and there's usually pictures.
I
Let me.
I had a bunch of pictures. I had them, and I have no clue where they are. So y'all can blame Comcast for that along with everything else because as far as I'm concerned, they're everything bad that has ever happened to
When they
my.
break your house and steal your pictures.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's what happened, along with my internet connection, which just died again. God. Anyway, so in addition to the live letter, they did talk a lot about the stuff that was going to be released in patch 3.07 because this live letter occurred, what was it, last Friday, a week from today? A week back from today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, they talked a lot about the stuff in 3.07. I truncated most of that out of there because, well, 3.07 has now hit. Um, and I have a full set of patch notes for that, which I have attempted to condense down into some quality programming time for us here. First off, there were major adjustments to 4 classes. I mean, we're talking super significant adjustments to 4 classes right off the bat. Uh, the lightest adjustment occurred with Dark Knight, which basically they just reduced their TP starvation. I mean, and a little bit more of quality of life improvement, which
Well,
unleash
the TP starvation is only for off tanks.
right
Main
off
tanks are still
tanks.
TP starved.
Yeah, they do need to fix that, but we'll see how that works out in the future. Uh,
Yeah.
Unleash, to give the specifics, Unleash now makes enemy attack indicators visible. That's just a quality of life improvement, makes things a little bit easier for
Yeah.
tanks that are getting in there in dungeons and pulling quickly with Unleash. Um, Go ahead.
Oh no,
Oh,
nothing.
okay. And then Blood Weapon, which is pretty much just an off-tank ability. I'm sorry, guys. It now applies an effect that reduces the TP cost of weapon skills by 20%. So, yeah,
Spam away. Yeah,
yes.
it's great as an off tank. I love doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much good now, guys. You should never run out of TP as an off-tank. Have fun with that.
As long as there's breaks. But yeah,
Oh, what, that?
you still need the breaks. Which there's still some downtime, which but most fights don't aren't. Well, some of them are. There still needs to be some work. It's a good start.
I think we just had a new subscriber and the Twitch alerts thing went off volume-wise, but actually didn't show up on the screen. So, eh, I don't know what happened there. But thanks to whoever followed. Anyway, next on the list we have Monk. Monk has had some severe improvements here. Meditation, its recast has been reduced by zero point 0.3 seconds, which helps it to fit into the rotation a lot better. I know because I play a monk right now, or before the changes, you could really only fit in a meditation once every other um, 1, 2, 3 combination. Um, it's it's very nice having it reduced now. The Forbidden Chakra, which was an off-global cooldown, now has a lower delay before using the next action. It's again huge for a class that has off-global cooldowns. That's kind of necessary. Tornado Kick, which is one skill I don't have yet, has had its recast timer reduced down to 40 seconds. Once again, an improvement for getting that additional DPS out. And then finally, this is the big change that's made most monks a lot more given them a lot more leniency in their raid situations. All the greased lightning levels 1, 2, and 3 have had their damage bonus increased and their duration increased.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's absolutely massive. I mean, at the third level of Greased Lightning, you're getting basically an additional plus 3% damage output, and the duration for all of them went up by 2 seconds, I believe it was.
I think that's
I think
sounds
it
right. I
was
don't play monk, so it's
it was something like that, 2 or 3, maybe 4 seconds, but it's huge. And
yep.
it also went up in PvP by 4 seconds. I know that much.
Yeah.
Uh, just massive change, really needed because they're trying to cram. Before that, they were trying to cram way too much into a very tight rotation that had to be continuously maintained. Now they have a lot more leniency if they have to use a different skill, like meditation, for example. They can use that a lot more frequently now, which is great. Yeah, like I said, I play a monk a little bit, but it was difficult before. The one a lot of people are excited about, Machinist. Um,
Oh, this is amazing.
yeah, one change, just one change, and it basically completely made the class different in terms of its rotation. A quick reload. It's had
Yep.
its recast time reduced to 30 seconds. Or if you have the quicker reload trait, which you gain at level 32, I think, it's 15 seconds.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's an amazing skill. For those who don't know, Machinist is all based off procs,
Yeah.
and the quick your ammunition. If you load your weapon, your ammunition will force a proc. So being able to force a proc every 15 seconds, not only does it you do increase your damage, but it also recovers TP. So it's amazing. This skill completely changed the way machinists play, and I love it because I
Yeah.
actually play a machinist
I've been
as
messing
one of my off
around with one
classes.
as well, and it's really nice. The change is huge.
Yeah,
Also, the TP recovered by quick reload has been reduced to 30, but that's still a net increase because now instead of 50 every 30 seconds, you're getting 60 every 30
60. Yep.
seconds, which
Yeah.
is great.
That
Um,
you can also cross-class invigorate, so you get 400 every 180 seconds or however long it is.
if you're running out of TP as a machinist, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
And on top of that, as if all of that wasn't enough, you also have the ability to throw up that the bishop auto turret and recover TP that way.
Yep. Yeah, it's a fun class.
Yeah. Then the biggest change,
Oh yeah.
Astrologian. My tagline for this is everything is better. because it's really true. Benefic 2, and Helios all have had their potency increased significantly. In and of itself, that is a very big change, and I wouldn't have been
Yeah.
surprised just to see that. But no, that's just the beginning.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Aspected Benefic. Um, Diurnal Sect, which is the potency regen type of a sect, the potency of the regen has been increased from 100 to 140. Wow.
Yeah, it's still. I mean, it's not as strong as a regen from White Mage, but it's still fairly good.
I mean, but the advantage of having the aspect of benefic as compared to the white mage's regen is that applies a cure at the same time.
Correct. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
cure. It's a front-loaded cure and then a regen effect afterwards.
it's pretty huge.
Mhm.
And then in Nocturnal Sect, the damage nullification for the barrier that's formed on that has been increased to 130% of the HP restored, bringing it more into line with. It's still a little bit behind some or a scholar's Adloquium, but it brings it a little bit more into line with that, which is good.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, they can't do everything as well as the White Mage and the
Right.
Summer or Scholar because of the cards.
Yeah.
Um,
But at least now it's not like 60% less effective than the summoner or the
Definitely.
scholars
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, they
Um,
needed help. I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie.
Aspected Helios has had some pretty major changes occur to it. The potency of the heal itself has been increased for both diurnal and nocturnal sects. Diurnal it's now 200, and nocturnal it's now 150. And the potency of the regen in diurnal sect, however, has been reduced to only 40, making it not as good, nowhere near as good as Medica 2, but it has a little bit more cure potency off the top, which is good. In Diurnal Sect, Aspected Helios is very significant healing.
Yeah.
Um, it's I almost want to say it's more effective in Nocturnal Sect though, because it may not be quite as strong as Sucker, but it's pretty dang close, and the MP cost is pretty minuscule, especially if you're using it with light speed, where you can almost get it off as an instant cast.
Yeah.
It's pretty huge. Then what I consider to be the biggest change, straight up, Sinistry, a effect that was okay. It made the class a little bit unique. Now it is a massively good cooldown that you should be using pretty much whenever it's up. First off, it increases the caster's healing potency by 20% for 20 seconds. I mean, to get that, a scholar actually has to desummon their fairy
Yeah. It's
on top of having a cooldown. So this is pretty huge. The target of Sinistry recovers HP whenever any other party member receives a heal, instead of just the secondary target of Sinistry. Also, the HP recovery from that has been reduced to 40%. And I think I just lost connection again.
you're bouncing around.
Okay. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad at the moment. Yeah, I'm getting a lot. I'm dropping frames like water. All right, good. Looks like it's back. I'm just not going to complain about it anymore. Anyway, Sinistry, it's good. Also, the recast time has been reduced to 120 seconds, which is pretty huge.
The other nice thing about it, and people aren't sure if this is a bug yet or not, or if it's an intended thing, is if you cast Sinistry on the tank and then you actually heal the tank, they get the heal and the Sinistry heal. So it's
Okay,
140% of healing.
if that's the case, then that is a bug because in the tooltip text it says anybody that is not the target of Sinistry.
Right. But the other languages, this is where the confusion is depending on which version of the game you're playing, the text is different. So we're not sure
Oh,
if it's a mistranslation or if it's an actual bug. They have
interesting.
not said. Yeah. But
I
right now,
wasn't aware of that.
Sinistry is wicked powerful.
Wow, that is, yeah. I mean, if that is the case and that's an intended change, oh man, that makes it even more powerful. And I already thought it was powerful.
Yeah, that's your O button.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, that's a really powerful cooldown. So congratulations, you guys now have one of the best healing cooldowns in the game. I mean, you already had some of the better ones, so I don't know what you guys were complaining about there. um, Celestial Oppositions recast time has been reduced to 120 seconds alongside Sinistry. Disable is now a lot more potent. Um, it now
Yeah.
reduces the potency of the target's all of its offensive actions during the duration, meaning it's more like Virus, but instead of reducing stats, it's actually reducing potency directly,
Right.
which means it's not quite as potent as Virus, but it doesn't have the lockout timer that Virus
Got
does. The duration's also been reduced down to only 6 seconds.
Right, but still, I mean, it actually stacks with virus. So
Oh yeah,
it's with good timing, you can actually bring some tank busters to very manageable levels.
yeah. Or even better, like for example, if we had had that during the T13 era, where we could have both disable and virus up for Terra flares or Mega flares
Ak-
rather,
or
or
Aquamorns.
Akmorns, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Um, Collective Unconscious also got a pretty huge buff. It now grants both regen and 10% damage reduction to party members, regardless of which sect you are currently in.
yeah, that's awesome.
Um, it does also cancel your auto attack on use now, so you're not going to accidentally cancel it with an auto attack. Uh, the regen potency has been reduced down to 150, which it kind of needed to be because now it's a lot more potent. As a whole heal in general. And then the duration has also been reduced to 15 seconds.
The
So,
nice thing about that one though is if you exit the bubble and go back in, it'll refresh the regen.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay, ooh, that's huge, guys.
Yeah,
Learn,
it's almost 30 seconds of regen for an entire raid. That's some pretty impressive healing.
that's pretty huge, guys. The other advantage is you don't have to channel it for the whole time now in order to get the full benefit because you can get that regen off without needing to continue to channel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yep.
that's pretty big. Okay, finally, uh, three of the buffs that astrologians can give out with their cards: the balance, which is the damage output buff; the bowl, which is the damage reduction buff; and the arrow, which is the casting speed
Attack speed.
buff. Yeah,
Yeah, attack speed.
attack speed buff. They've had their duration increased to 30 seconds, regardless of whether you're in single target or AoE on it. Um, and then if you extend the duration on that, it doubles it up to a minute. Having a minute of balance is huge.
Oh yeah.
uh, I can't think of a single class that wouldn't benefit from that. And seeing those changes uh, really makes those three, which were already the most popular ones to use, Um, the bowl, the arrow, the balance were the three most popular ones to use, if I'm not mistaken, outside of the spire. Um, Being able to use those for longer durations really makes them a lot more powerful. You don't have to save
Oh
them
yeah.
and use them in specific situations. You can use them a little bit ahead of time and continue to keep your draw on cooldown a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah. And I mean balance being 30 seconds if you AoE that, that's raid wide increase to everybody. That's a nice little
It's
bump right there.
15%.
Yeah.
15% for
Yeah,
30
it's
seconds. That's more powerful than any other buff in the game.
yeah. Yeah, Astrologia's got a lot of help and
They needed
it
it,
was needed. Yeah, they needed it.
but
I'm
yeah,
just glad they didn't nerf the other classes. And that's one thing I like about squares. They typically don't nerf. They usually buff. They will nerf occasionally if things are too powerful.
but they do
Um,
tend to do a good job in terms of balancing by taking it a little bit at a time. Sometimes the players can get impatient with that. Like, for example, with Astrologian, up until now, people weren't playing him. I know the
yeah,
census data showed that Astrologian was the least played class out of all the classes, both new and old.
right.
Because it was nobody would take them in raids. They were so underpowered.
Yep.
Um, that you could not complete Savage with an Astrologian. It was proven impossible. Uh, but I'm very, very glad to see that's changed because Astrologian is a cool healer. It was a really interesting concept that they added to the game, and I'm glad to see that they're making it more
Yeah.
powerful. All right. A
Yeah.
few other things came in the 3.07 patch. The PvP actions, Axe Kick and Purify, have been improved. Axe Kick now reflects the changes made to Grease Lightning, meaning that the Grease Lightning stacks that it gives now have the new correct duration for PvP. I think it's like 28 seconds or something like that. And Purify is now on a faster recast timer, so you'll be able to use that more often, which is kind of needed considering the prevalence of summoners in PvP right
I was
now.
gonna say, yeah. And then actually, if you time it right, Purify actually completely counters summoners
Yeah,
because we we can't if we get festers and all other skills off because you don't have any more dots, then we don't
yeah,
get Aether Flow stacks, and if we don't have those, we can't go into Dreadworm.
yeah. I mean, granted, you do have access to your pain flares now, which makes things a little bit easier. But
Right,
yeah, not being able to get off the festers is pretty unfortunate when you want
definitely,
it.
especially when everybody likes to sit in packs. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Smiling.
Oh man, Kyosha. Anyway, it's good to see you, Kyosha. I'm glad you're in the chat. Um, Bards and machinists, while using Wanderer's Minuet / Gauss Barrel, do not have to worry so much about the damage penalty in PvP now. Um, the the distance-based damage penalty that they can suffer, which was a problem before because of the fact that they were so mobile, they could continue to stay at range um, and do a whole lot of damage without having to worry so much about the melee getting up on them. Um, so they made it to where you do more damage when you're closer. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no the damage penalty, which is it's great because there's no way to stop the other team from. It's always melee range.
Yeah. But now, when you're using Wanderer's Minuet and Gauss Barrel in PvP, that penalty is reduced significantly. So they're bringing it to where it should be. If you're going to be a caster, if you're going to be stationary, you don't need that same balancing factor. So that was a good change. I'm glad they made it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
Battle High and Battle Fever now increase the rate of filling the adrenaline gauge slower than before.
yeah.
So
That was a problem.
yeah, especially in Slaughter, I imagine. Well, I
Well,
think
nobody
it's
really
only
does
in
slaughter, but
Slaughter.
no, actually in the new zone,
Seal Rock?
seas, yeah, there's still individual limit breaks, which
Oh,
is the battle, yeah, the adrenaline gauge, which is nice. But when you were battle hide or battle fevered, you basically kept it because it was insane how fast they filled up. So it's definitely a good change, definitely a balance change, so it'll help.
yeah. No, that's good. Because yeah, I like I said, I don't PvP. I don't pretend to understand PvP, but from what I had heard, that was a major complaint, especially with casters. They could just
Oh yeah,
continuously just pop off adrenaline gauge stuff and kill huge packs.
yeah. Casters aren't as bad anymore because it's harder to coordinate because it's usually you don't have 7 or 24 people usually standing in one spot like you did in the slaughter.
Because they've
Usually,
learned because of summoners.
well, no, not just that. It's just there's multiple points to defend in C, so not everybody is usually bunched up together.
Yeah. Not sure what's up with the taking a long time to load. I don't know if anybody else is having that same issue. I have had some dropped frames, but right now it's looking fine. So I don't know. I'm sorry, whoever's looking there. Um, I'll see if there's something I can do about it. First off, though, favors. That's another thing I'm not super familiar with. I don't know exactly what's going on. Um, but the duration has been reduced to 5 minutes for favors from 15 minutes previously. However, the rate of appearance for concealed gathering spots has increased by 300%. So, from what I understand, people are taking cordials like candy now
Yeah,
because of that.
I haven't gotten too much of the favor system, so I can't speak too much about that one.
Yeah, yeah. I'll try to find some more information on that for the next one, but I was unable to get a whole lot of info there. But I do know that people, for the most part, seem pretty pleased with that change. So we'll see if that turns into a good thing or a bad thing in the end. All right. There are more items currently being obtained by Fisher Venture, or I'm sorry, there are more items that are now able to be obtained by Fisher Ventures. Some of the items that were supposed to be in the Fisher Ventures for retainers were not there, and they've been re-added in 3.07.
So that means no more fat cats.
Well, I mean, those are still obtainable. So
Oh, I know. I got one the other week, so they just worked. I don't think they spawn as fast. I think that was the thing is they were that a lot of fat cats were coming back.
right, right. Also, the fish battle galley has had its catch rate when using brute leech adjusted. Uh, they were super vague about that. I really don't know what that means. So if there are any fishers that know what that means,
They might have been. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
there was something about maybe you were able to catch them too fast, but it just says adjusted. So I don't know. Anyway, they made some other small changes like the names on the Ninja and Koga Teko have been fixed to where they have the proper amount of K's in them. Uh, and then TP bars, which is actually the last thing on this list, but really, really big for a lot of classes that, such as Bard, Machinist, Ninja, and Astrologian that have the ability to give other people TP. They couldn't tell though. They had to rely on other people telling them that they needed to, TP. Now they can just look up at the party list and see the bars. Uh,
yep.
they're pretty conveniently located. They're pretty easy to look at. So they did a good job there. However, there are no numbers on the bars. That's something to do with memory limitations.
Yeah, but
I
everyone has 1,000 TP anyway,
exactly.
so it's not like the number changes.
Yeah. So as long as you get used to, oh hey, that person's got a very low TP, I should probably give them a I should probably toss that spire that I've been holding on to on that guy. It's and that's pretty common. So that's
Yeah,
good. And like I said, they did a pretty good job in implementing that. It's easy to look at, and it doesn't interfere with really anything else on there.
right.
They did move to make up for the view limitations on there. They did move the party bonus uh, icons. Is that right? Yeah, icons
Yeah.
from the top of the party list up in your corner. They moved those from up there, and they have now moved them into the actual party window that you have to open. But nobody really looked at those anyway, so whatever.
If you had a tank in your party, you got a vitality buff. If you had a
Yeah,
caster, you got an int buff. It was pretty self-explanatory.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know why it took so long for them to do that, but I,
It's actually I think it's limitations of the PS3 that right now, and I don't know if they've come out and said it yet, but I think 4.0 might actually end PS3 support.
well, I mean, they
Which
were
is
supposed to end 3.0 or PS3 support in April of this year, but they
yeah,
didn't. So I don't know.
which is nice. I mean, it's great
Yeah.
that they're not end of life because I mean the PS3 still. I mean, it's not a next gen, but it's still a prevalent console. So them allowing it is
I mean,
good. But as
it's
long as it doesn't
limiting
hold
the
us
game
back,
though.
yeah, as
Exactly,
long as
it's
it doesn't.
limiting the game. So
Yeah, PC Master Race.
yeah, I know. I definitely prefer playing on the PC. I've run into several people that have had issues playing on even the PS4, where
Yeah.
off global cooldowns you can't get two of them in between each global cooldown, which for a summoner would be disastrous.
Oh
I
yeah.
and yet I still hear people playing summoners on PS4 more than any other class. Um, I I don't know how to do it because I need to be able to get my extra stuff in
Yeah,
there.
more power to them.
Yeah, I suppose so. um, yeah, to all you people who play on a PS4, congratulations. I can't do that.
Uh,
um, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I just the control. I mean, even the controller support on the PC. I've hooked it up before just to see. I mean, it's well done in the game, but I've played MMOs with a mouse and keyboard since the beginning, and I just can't do it.
Yeah, I know, man. It's I tried. I gave it a fair shot back when I was leveling a black mage on another server. God dang it. I just hit 0 frames per second again. Okay, there we go. Anyway, I tried to use the controller on PC. It's I mean, they did a really good job implementing it. I can't think of any way that they could have made it better. I just don't play with a controller very well. I've never played any game with a controller very well. Um, yeah, I do need some creme brulee. That's completely accurate. But that's for me, not for Comcast. They don't deserve it. um, Yeah. At this point, that's the end of the patch 3.07 notes. That's been out since Tuesday, and we've been playing around with it, getting a chance to get familiar with it. Um, Lost some more frames there. The uh, the patch has been very strong. The changes are very noticeable. Um, I mean, there were uh, there were definitely some concerns that they weren't going to be all that noticeable when they talked about it on the live letter. It's like, yeah, they keep saying they're going to improve these classes, but every single uh, every single one of these changes has been huge, extremely noticeable, and they've filled in a gap that was really needed in that class. So good on you, Square Enix. Let's keep that going.
Yeah.
All right. At this point, we're down to the end for this week. I don't have a whole lot more to talk about in terms of Square Enix news. We've gone through the grievance announcements. If you have anything more, Shiv, feel free to let me know right now.
Just go do the anniversary event if you
Oh
haven't.
yeah,
It is definitely well worth the time. It's amazing how humble and how the devs are. I know everyone says that their devs are the best in every game they play, but Yoshi P and the group have really stepped up. It's
yeah.
amazing the respect they show us.
Without going too far into the details on that event, they take what could have been a cliche that a lot of other games have done, and they really take it to an entirely new level when it comes to personal interaction. It's huge. We're not gonna talk spoilers because it is still kind of new content. Um, but yeah, everybody should go do that event. Talk
Yeah,
to the I think it's in Old Die in the Ruby Road
it starts with.
Exchange.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
world apart.
Lalafell there. Yeah.
Little bit of a Easter egg. That Lalafell, the character, or that's Yoshi P's Black Mage.
Really?
Yep, that's
Ah,
Yoshi P's Black Mage when he plays.
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know the minstrel and all that, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
But yeah, that event it takes maybe 20 minutes to go through the whole thing, and it's worth every second. So yeah, you should definitely go do that.
Yep.
And see if you can find the spoilers for the upcoming events coming in 3.1 in there because there are a couple.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Beyond that, I don't have anything else. Shiv, I don't know if you have anything else there.
I'm good. No, that's
All
it.
right. We'll be coming back to you bi-weekly, so look forward to not next Friday, but the Friday after that. Hopefully, we'll have some more awesome news to talk about. We'll be bringing in uh, other people as time goes by. I'll be looking forward to bringing back Echo Radio as often as possible, so long as I don't have internet connection that fails. Anyway, be sure to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/GTGN or GTG Network TV. Follow us on Twitch. We have this channel, www.twitch.tv/grievance. Or you can follow a few of our other members that stream on our streaming channel of www.twitch.tv/GTGN streams. Also, you can find us on Facebook, Grievance, and go to www.grievancegaming.org for all of the latest news regarding your guild and other guilds in the Grievance Charter. And again, for myself, Mascurse, and thank you for joining me, Shiv, this has been
Of
Echo
course.
Radio, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, guys.